Hi everyone, my name is Stan Lukyanov, and today I want to talk to you about GridGain 9. In this talk, we will start by learning about what is GridGain 9 for those of you who don't know about that product that builds on top of Apache Ignite. We will talk about what features our GridGain adds on top of Apache Ignite 3 and how these features help to enable Ignite usage in enterprises. And we will focus specifically on how Ignite 3's new enhanced architecture helps these enterprise features shine in GridGain 9. And maybe you will get some ideas on how to similarly improve your own applications with Ignite 3. Uh, Let me start by talking a little bit about what is GridGain Systems, the company behind GridGain. So GridGain Systems is the company founded by original creators of Apache Ignite, and it provides a number of products and services for the Ignite ecosystem. The core product is called GridGain Platform, and it is a platform built upon Apache Ignite's core that adds to the Ignite's core features additional functionality for data connectivity, security, and enhanced availability and reliability. Uh, GridGain also has a control center, which is a management and monitoring tool. GridGain Nebula, which is a database as a service offering that allows you to easily start a GridGain cluster that is production ready and running as a managed cluster on the cloud. And also, GridGain provides support and services to Apache Ignite and GridGain users. And a few words about myself. I'm the director of product in GridGain, responsible for the product strategy and roadmap. I've been in the Apache Ignite community for many, many years now as a contributor, as a speaker, as an advocate for Ignite, help many users in the community uh, set up their Apache Ignite deployments, and in the past, I was a big Java geek. So let's start by talking about what is GridGain and what is that new GridGain 9 version. And to that, let's begin by talking what do you need to get Apache Ignite in production enterprise-wide. First, you would need to be able to connect to different data sources. As your business grows, as your Ignite usage grows, you will see that you need to connect to more different third-party systems. You need to support different kinds of data. It's not just key value or SQL, but maybe it's vectors, maybe it's some data that is specific to analytical workloads, etc. And you need to be able to integrate with these other systems seamlessly. Next, the volume of your data also grows, and you need efficient storage for your needs and storage that can be scalable and economical for these increased volumes. Next, you will face different compliance related requirements, maybe some requirements related to your particular application and deployment in terms of the required availability, SLAs, data safety, and so on. And for that, you will, of course, need enhanced security and availability features such as geographical distribution, multi-region setups, and of course, database backups and restore. And these solutions are all provided with the GridGain product that again builds on top of the great core of Apache Ignite 3, builds on top of that distributed in-memory database and adds these features to make a final product that is enterprise ready. A few facts about GridGain 9 itself. So GridGain 9 is built on the same code base as Ignite 3. So GridGain 9 is a part of the next generation of the products in our ecosystem. So GridGain 9 builds on top of Ignite 3 and extends Ignite 3 with these additional features for enterprise readiness. It also enhances the user experience for GridGain users. If some of you are GridGain users already, users of GridGain 8, you will see that GridGain 9 greatly enhances user experience, and this is all based on the great additions that we have from Ignite 3 itself. GridGain 9 also was released a little earlier than Ignite 3 itself. GridGain 9 was released last year, while Ignite 3, of course, was just released earlier this month. So now let's talk about these enterprise-ready features that GridGain 9 provides, that GridGain 9 adds to Ignite. So I will talk about the groups of features for data connectivity, security, and cluster availability in general, and then I will focus on some of the highlights about GridGain 9 specifically, what GridGain 9 does differently, and how GridGain 9 improves the earlier features. And this is when this talk secretly becomes a little bit of a deep dive under the hood talk, because I will also be talking a little bit about which of the Ignite 3 enhancements and updated architecture helped GridGain 9 to also improve its user experience. And maybe you will get some ideas on how this can apply to your applications, to your Ignite applications as well. So let's start by talking about data connectivity features in GridGain. So GridGain has a number of features that help to, on one hand, store different kinds of data that is specific to certain kinds of workloads, whether it's analytical workloads or AI and machine learning workloads. It has enhanced storage engines that are again specific to certain kinds of workloads and help to make your system more efficient. And it integrates with with a wide range of third-party systems, from commonly used file formats, commonly used, say, in lakehouses such as Apache Iceberg and Apache Parquet, to streaming technologies such as Kafka or Oracle Golden Gate, to AI and ML frameworks and libraries. So first, let's talk about maybe the biggest highlight of GridGain 9, which is the addition of Columnar Store. So Columnar Store is an entirely new storage engine that we add in the new generation of the product that helps you to process analytical workloads with more efficiency and performance. Columnar Store is optimized for workloads when you need to store and scan and aggregate large volumes of data. The columnar data orientation is it's more friendly for things like compression, so it's more efficient, and it allows you to, well, essentially scan the data on disk faster, which enhances the performance of this scan-heavy analytical workloads. In GridGain 9, we also introduce a concept of dual storage or secondary storage. So to combine both transactional or OLTP and analytical or OLAP workloads in a single system, we allow to define two types of storages for the same table, which essentially means that the same table is optimized for two types of workloads at the same time, for both transactional and analytical workloads. And it is easily defined, like you can see here on the screen, with just some addition to your create table DDL statements. And another thing to mention is that the transactional and analytical part of the workload are fully segregated from each other, or can be fully segregated from each other, which means that your heavy analytics will not interfere with your latency sensitive mission critical transactional workload. So you can let your analytics run um, freely concurrently with the main transactional workload of your cluster. And all these great features are powered by Ignite 3's new storage architecture, which includes the support for different storage engines, as well as MVCC, multi-version concurrency control. And I will mention MVCC many times throughout the talk today, because MVCC and its support for SQL transactions, its enhancements to the transactional architecture, and the fact that it provides access to different versions of the data at the same time in a non-locking fashion. It enables a lot of different usage patterns and a lot of different enhancements that you can make in your applications, or that a product like GridGain 9 that extends Ignite can also use to provide better enterprise features. The next highlight I want to talk about is the improvements in data import and export. So GridGain provides this feature that lets you to import or export data between GridGain and file-based storages that you commonly find in data lakes and lake houses in with formats such as Apache Iceberg, which is, I think, becoming more and more the standard for lake houses and data lakes today, Apache Parquet, and CSV files. So GridGain allows you to easily, with just SQL statements, export data into these files or import data from these files. And GridGain 9 enhances that with transactional support. Thanks to Ignite 3's non-locking transactions, we can now export data under load in a non-locking, lock-free fashion with point-in-time consistency. It means that the moment you start your data export, the state of the system is frozen, and this is exactly the state, this point-in-time transactionally consistent state that will be exported into your Apache Iceberg, into your lakehouse, so that you can be sure that your downstream systems will get a consistent copy of what was in GridGain at the time. Next, let's talk about security. And in security, in terms of security features for complex enterprise deployments, I think the most commonly used and the most important features are role-based access control, which allows you to implement the access to your system, access to your data in a compliant and in a compliant way, segregated by roles, and also the ability to both, if you wish, work with these roles and users and permissions in GridGain itself with a full feature set that allows you to define and control them, or if you need to work with an external security provider such as Active Directory, you can connect to that. And that in that case, that identity provider, that security provider will control who gets access to what data inside of GridGain. So in GridGain 9, we have revamped the role-based access control framework quite a bit. Users' roles and privileges are now all first-class citizens accessible directly through SQL. If you want to use GridGain's integrated way of managing users and roles and privileges and all of that, you can do all of that directly through SQL. This is very easy to start, very easy to work with, very easy to control. And if you want to use an external provider, you can also fetch the users and roles for these users from an external system, again, something like Active Directory or maybe an identity manager on your cloud provider. And then these role grants will be mapped to the roles that you create inside of GridGain with the GridGain specific privileges. And this dynamicity, this enhanced user experience is enabled by Ignite 3's new configuration framework and centralized distributed meta store that allows us to uh, add again more dynamicity and change the configuration of things such as security and rollback on the fly on a running cluster. Next, let's talk about availability features. So availability is a big topic, and GridGain has a number of features that serve different purposes, whether it's zero downtime maintenance, whether it's data safety and reducing the RPO or recovery point objective. In other words, making sure that you don't lose data in case of a disaster or an incident, or that you can minimize the amount of the data lost. And also, GridGain provides data center replication, which is a feature to create geo-distributed multi-region cluster systems connecting multiple clusters in an active setup, such that you can um, work with individual clusters in each region, but keep the entire system connected. So let's talk about a couple of these features in more detail and how GridGain 9 improves on them. So first, let's talk about snapshots and point-in-time recovery. So snapshots is how we call backups in GridGain and Ignite. And GridGain provides full and incremental snapshots. And full snapshot is basically your data copy of your entire database or your entire table. Incremental snapshot is a delta between your previous snapshot or your previous copy and what is in the database now. And then we also have point-in-time recovery feature. And point-in-time recovery allows you to restore not just to a point in time when you had your snapshot, but also to any point in between snapshots, as long as you have your history preserved. So these mechanisms, we had them in GridGain 8 as well, but they were historically, they involved a certain amount of locking. We minimized it, of course, to ensure that snapshots are as non-intrusive as possible on the running cluster. But GridGain 9 really helped us to move that to the next level. With Ignite 3's MVCC, multi-version concurrency control, and with log-free data access, we are now able to make snapshots even more lightweight, non-locking, with absolutely zero locking, allowing to take snapshots even more frequently throughout the day, allowing the user to reduce the RPO and get to a overall safer, more reliable system. And also, MVCC enables us to more easily navigate along the version history because we have the history available to us from MVCC. We can jump throughout the history or along the history back and forth, which can be very useful, for example, for audit or for troubleshooting. Maybe you are not even sure which point in time you need to return to right now. Well, you can do a little bit of a search and restore to one point, then restore to another point, and it is all safe, and it is all powered by the availability of history and the new lightweight ways of accessing it and restoring from history like that. A little bit of a spoiler to what we are planning next. We are also looking at some time travel queries features that will enable you to do this history access even without restoring the cluster to to a previous state, but just kind of taking a glimpse into the history, into the version history of the cluster. And next, let's talk about data center replication. This is one of the most powerful features of GridGain. Data center replication allows you to connect multiple clusters. It can be 2 clusters, it can be more, in different topologies, in different setups, which will all talk to each other and replicate data between each other. This allows you to have clusters that are on different server racks or different availability zones or even completely different regions, maybe different continents. Can have them connected and exchanging data, maybe in an active passive or even active way. And this is really the features that allows you to have uh, zero RTO, full availability. Even if one cluster goes down, you can always switch to the other cluster, and thanks to this um, uh, hot backup availability and active support, your system can stay up all the time. The difficulty with data center replication, though, was always that, well, configuring these cross-regional systems, well, it is always a little bit complex. But with Ignite 3's new configuration framework, and again with some help from the MVCC architecture, we were able to improve on that quite a bit. And here I want to just show you how you configure data center replication in 9. But before that, let me show you how you configure data center replication in GridGain 8. I love GridGain 8. It is a great product, but with XML configuration, a little bit of verbosity, you need to put together a number of things in the configuration for data center replication to work. And then you also need to orchestrate these configurations between different nodes. I've helped many customers set this up. It is doable, but it takes a minute to learn that and figure all of this out. In GridGain 9, you configure data center replication with just 2 commands. All you need is you need to create the replication entity, which is basically just a link connecting 2 clusters. And then you just start your replication, specify which tables you want to replicate using that link that you have created. And the framework will do everything on the background. GridGain 9 also provides an out-of-the-box conflict resolution, which means that in an active setup, GridGain 9 will use time-based and version-based uh, conflict resolution, meaning that you will get eventual consistency between your clusters out of the box with no need to code anything or define application-specific rules on how to solve conflicts when two active systems get updated at the same time. So this is a huge step forward in making even the most powerful, most complex features in the platform and in our ecosystem much simpler. So to summarize, I'd like to talk about two takeaways here. The first relates to getting Ignite to production, which can be tough. You start with a great product in Ignite 3 with that great distributed database, but then you need to ensure at scale data connectivity with other systems, support for different data formats, compliance with security and availability and reliability standards. And you can do it with Ignite 3, and Ignite 3 has all the tools for that. Or you can use GridGain 9, which just simplifies this path for you and gets you to production faster. The second takeaway is related not just to GridGain 9 or not just to enterprises, but to our ecosystem as a whole. Ignite 3, with its new architecture, with its enhancements and feature additions, really makes everything based on Apache Ignite better. You can see how GridGain 9 was able to improve and simplify using Ignite 3 features. And guess what? All these features are available for you as well. MVCC through the form of in the form of SQL transactions and new transactional architecture, the new configuration framework, the new CLI. All these features are available now, so that you can also simplify your systems that are based on Apache Ignite, or build new ones that will be even more powerful, even more performant, even more reliable, and provide better developer experience for your teams. Thanks, everyone. This is all I had for today. Please try out Ignite 3, try out GridGain 9, and let's get in touch. Thank you.